Brinson has left the building. He does not want to face the music about breach spot 2000 with the Cowboys. I was all over the Bills. I said, don't sleep on the Bills. I didn't know the Ty Dunn article was coming out to motivate that group. But it feels like breach. Ken Dorsey's departure has allowed Josh Allen to be more Josh Allen-y. And I think what you have to understand about Josh Allen is he's going to turn the ball over. It does not matter. He'll have 1.5 turnovers a game, but he'll have 4.5 touchdowns through the air or with his legs. And this team's schedule is incredibly tough, but this was probably the toughest test they have. I think they have Dallas next, so that'll be a test, but that's at home in Buffalo, if I recall correctly. And then they finish at Miami, and as you and Brinson like to say, well, it's week 17. They might be sitting everyone in Miami, so maybe no one plays. Maybe you face Mike White. This team feels like it's making the playoffs, Breach.
Yeah, I mean, this team looks driven. They went out there, and I would say by the end of the first quarter, it just really felt like they were going to win the game. Like they just looked possessed. And that doesn't mean they dominated all 4 quarters. It just was one of those games until Josh Allen threw an interception that Wilson just mentioned and let Kansas City back in the game. But, yeah, I do feel like this is a playoff team, Wilson. You've talked me into it, even though they do have the Cowboys next week. And then all winnable games.
Wilson's the guy talking to people into the Bills being in the playoffs. Wilson hates the Bills.
Oh, why do you say that?
You've been complaining about the Bills for like 2 years now.
Give me 1 or 10 examples. Thank you.
I'm like, the Bills are dead. You guys are always like, by the way, Breach, it looks like you're wearing a black turtleneck. Is that true?
He put on a Sprockets thing. He's good.
No.
Keeps me warm.
I feel like you're always sort of anti-Bills just in terms
Last week I wasn't, and you were. Don't try to turn the tables. Own it.
I picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl.
I'm driving the Bills.
Brinson, we're talking about after the Week 13 podcast. Wilson was the only one who picked the Bills in the AFC playoff picture.
You guys laughed at me because of their tough schedule. I knew the Ty Dunn article was coming out. You guys didn't, so that's a little insider information.
I do think what's interesting about the Ty Dunn article is that, and love Ty Dunn, great dude.
I think Sean McDermott would like a word.
Well, what's interesting is that obviously you had the stuff, the New York 9/11 stuff, right? I mean, that was the thing that it got focused on.
That was not even the top 10 craziest things in that 20,000 word story in my mind.
Right. 3-part story. It's insanely long. Talked to 25 people from the Buffalo Bills organization. I thought what was interesting was that it sort of lost in the whole discussion of it was that against McDermott's sort of wishes in 2020 or 2021, Brian Daboll literally said, F it. We're going to be us. We're going to play our game and just cut Josh Allen and the offense loose. And I think you've seen that from Joe Brady the last few weeks. Joe Brady's best interest is letting Josh Allen win games for them. Now, I thought Allen I thought they sort of pulled back the reins a little bit in this game after they got up 14-0 in the second quarter. And Kansas City's defense tightened up. They did a great job of smothering Stephon Diggs. You know, he finished with 11 targets, 4 catches, 24 yards. I mean, that's nothing. They really focused on passing out of the backfield. Josh Allen ran the ball 10 times in this game. If you look at Josh Allen's, I think Josh Allen rushing attempts props for next week are a good look. He's been running the ball a lot more the last couple of weeks. And I think that's going to be sort of the protocol for the Bills moving forward. There's just, they know that he had no games before last week with more than 8 rushing attempts. He had 9 rushing attempts last week, 10 rushing attempts this week. I think that's going to be the standard going forward for Josh Allen, is running the football a lot, willing to just say, I almost said it. Willing to say F it, put his body on the line, and just let the offense go. And I think I think the Bills are going to be back, and they're going to be definitely a playoff contender, probably win the Super Bowl. I think that Ty Dunn article might be the best thing to happen to the Bills season, honestly.
So, Breach, what I've learned is that Brinson agrees with me, and he's stealing my talking points. Give us something quick on the Bills, and we'll get to getting.
I agree with you guys. I'm all in here. Look, if Josh Allen is unleashed and cuts down on the turnovers, I mean, that's really been the story of his career. When he turns the ball over multiple times, they lose. When he doesn't, they win. And so it's like, all right, Josh, you get one free pass. You can fumble it once, throw an interception once. You just can't do it twice. And he played smart football. And I will say the Bills defense looked really good. We've talked all season about the injuries and how beat up they've been. This was probably their best game since suffering those big injuries.